Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us. We're going to allow a minute or two for everyone to join and start soon, so thanks for your patience. All right, it's 2 after the hour, so let's get started. Again, welcome everyone to today's webinar titled Controlling Flooring and Paint Costs Without Adding Friction to Your Claims Process. So before we get started, I have a couple of housekeeping items to announce. So since this is a webinar, this will be recorded for later viewing, and your microphone and your camera will be also muted and off. But at the end, we allocated some time for Q&A session via the chat function. So just quickly, just to go over what today's webinar is about and what the goals are. What we want to do is to educate you on the FSP and PSP program and what they are and how they work. Secondly, showcase real-world savings and operational efficiencies. Third, show the product alignment between carrier and the Verus ecosystem. And lastly, provide you with some real-world examples of experiences from using AccuServe's FSP and PSP program. Before we get started, let's quickly do some quick intros. My name is Odin Wu. I currently serve as Director of Strategic Partnership at Verisk, and I'll serve as your facilitator today. Our primary job in the Ecosystem Partnership Program is to ensure that all of our 140 or more partners are very successful in that ecosystem. And one of those partners is AccuServe. Our guest today is Hunter Powell. Hunter is the CEO and founder of AccuServe Solutions. And so I'll let Hunter introduce himself. So Hunter, could you quickly introduce yourself and some background information on you and AccuServe?
Yeah, 100%. Thanks again for giving us this opportunity, and thank you to everybody on the phone for making the time. I'm Hunter. Really got my start in the insurance industry back in 2011 when I was in a private equity group, and we bought the first of several businesses in the insurance services space. So cut my teeth in the commercial property loss adjusting world, and then the forensic engineering and fire cause and origin determination world. And then in 2016, we were blessed to partner with a personal lines independent adjusting firm. So got a broad array of experiences, and quite frankly, those 9 to 10 years of experiences led me to eventually make a big life change and come out to Denver and found a business called AccuServe. So we started with a network of roofing contractors that we were using to help more efficiently solve and fulfill not only claims, but also the restoration on the back of a claim. And we've since built out AccuServe to be a whole home solution. So whether it's a network of water mitigators, interior reconstruction professionals, roofing, siding, gutters, exterior general contractors, and then specialty windows professionals, we're proud of what we built out. Odin, a little more color just for the group because I think it's pertinent. In 2022, AccuServe decided to vertically integrate. We now own a $100 million roofing company, our own business. We strategically decided to do that for multiple reasons, some of which are relevant to this call. However, we really looked at roofing and said, there's no ServPro of roofing. We need to go down in that, get our hands dirty, figure it out, and come up and hopefully help lead the way for a better path forward for both the carriers and the contractors to work together. So what I'd say is AccuServe today is really 3 things. We're a world-class managed repair program. We're a distinct, vertically integrated exterior general contracting firm. And then we're also a provider of material pricing and fulfillment solutions, and something we've been doing since 2015 when we really led the way in the roofing side. So I feel blessed to be here, excited to share some more about some of the unique solutions we've developed. And Odom, again, appreciate Verisk's partnership and hosting this webinar. think you're on mute, brother.
So we appreciate your partnership and having AccuServe as a partner as well. It's been a great team to work with. So Hunter, let's set the stage for the problem the industry is facing today, specifically on flooring and paint claims. These type of claims don't typically receive executive attention because they're not catastrophic losses, right? But they do represent one of the largest aggregate categories of materials spent in property claims. Can you go a little bit more details on some of those problems?
Yeah, 100%. I think, just to frame the size of the problem. So collectively, across our industry analysis, the industry spends about 1.5 billion on flooring materials a year, and about 700 million on paint. Okay, so in aggregate, these two categories represent about 2.2 billion of spend. So certainly not a small number. I think the real structural challenge that we sought to solve here was, if you're an insurance carrier, you have tremendous buying power in the insurance restoration market. However, the structure of how claims have historically been settled has not enabled you to unlock the value of that buying power. And so if you think about any other industry in the world where the people financing purchases of goods and services are not getting buying power and economies of scale for their spend, it's hard to find one where that exists. However, because historically we have seen claims settled with a carrier cutting a check to a homeowner, a homeowner then giving that money either to their contractor or going directly to a supply house themselves. And then there's no function and form for the carrier to appear in that kind of chain of restoration. And therefore, if you're a large insurance carrier and you spend 50 million on insurance restoration in the roofing side, you have no buying power because you're fragmented in how you're paying these claims and you're not the end of line buyer at the supply house. So what we've sought to do was build out an ecosystem of partners that really help us attack this problem. So let's just maybe start back at the front of this discussion before we get into the solution. Odom, it's a structural challenge that is faced here where the financiers of the transactions are not getting economic value for it, okay? But I want to start maybe even further back, which is to say, listen, as we sought to solve this problem, and we were blessed that two carrier partners came to us proactively and engaged us in these problems. I want to level set that, and this is not meant to be a Verisk infomercial, but just a fundamental belief of ours, which is that the Verisk retail price is an accurate price. It is a price at which when someone settles a claim once every 10 years and they have to be able to get their house restored all over this country, having accurate real-time data that flows in to support a retail price is really critical. And Verisk has established a market-leading position because of its accuracy and the sustainability of settling off of its pricing. Okay, so we do not believe that the Verisk price is flawed. However, because the insurance industry is operated in a decentralized procurement model, again, it's not centralized where you're going to a supply house and they see XYZ insurance carrier as a purchaser. It's very decentralized and fragmented because they either see the claimant or the contractor as the purchaser, and the materials are purchased on a claim-by-claim basis on a local market rate. That's really prohibited from the carriers from getting value of their purchasing power, okay? So what we sought to do was attack the ability or the inability to unlock that purchasing power and scale and source materials through very high quality partners on a national basis in an automated fashion to attack this problem. We couldn't attack this problem and create a ton of manual work for claims organizations. We couldn't attack this problem with yours truly answering the phone and calling contractors back if they needed to place orders. We needed a great customer service engine. And we couldn't attack this problem with small mom and pop non-national suppliers that could really fulfill when the bell was rung. So what we've done is we've built a network of material suppliers and many times supported by installation crews that can help with not only the fulfillment and delivery either in store or to a doorstep of the actual job materials, but we also have crews oftentimes that can help. And so, listen, we sought out to solve an issue not only to help carriers, but also to help homeowners with material availability and quality, and then contractors with support for expanding their supplier base and diversifying their installation crews. So if you think about flooring, Odom, oftentimes this is the biggest callback item on a GC interior reconstruction job. And so we've partnered, it's no mystery. We partnered with CCA Global and the tremendous professionals within that co-op to help, again, not only fulfill materials, but also offer installation crews as they want to do jobs. They want to grow their business and they want to grow partnerships with GCs. So I would say, to summarize kind of the problem, look, fragmented, decentralized approach to spending money and getting value for the economic buying power of carriers. In order to change that, again, we had to form a true line to a supply house. We had to build a fulfillment network that would honor the prices, deliver a great customer experience, and offer value for contractors, homeowners, and carriers. And we're proud because we've done that. And we've penetrated a lot of the insurance market already, and we're excited to continue to grow this solution.
Yeah, thanks, Hunter. It's great to know that this is now about bulk buying power. So probably on the line are various type of end users. What's going to be the experience for carriers, policyholders, and contractors? Can you give us some specific rundowns for the experience for those three types of users?
Yeah, so absolutely. And again, I think this was built with all of those in mind. Okay, let's start first with the one on the top left, the carriers, and really I put them together with the adjusters. So I would say for anyone who interacts with carriers, one of the most common things we hear as we try to deploy innovative solutions and drive positive change is we can't ask our claims processors and our claims adjusters to do more things. We need to give them tools that enable them to do their work more easily in a more streamlined fashion. So as we set out to deploy this kind of solution to a root cause problem, we knew it had to be seamless, integrated, automated, and require effectively no additional work from carrier personnel, whether it's staff personnel or independent adjusting third parties and of that nature, okay? So what I'd say is adjusters and claims processors will rely on Verisk's estimating platform because it's, listen, trusted, accurate, standardized pricing. It's what they work in already. So there is no new software. There's no new technology to download. There's no plugin. There's no macro. There's none of that, okay? What there is in the entrails of Verisk's ecosystem, and many folks on this call already know about this, there's the third-party pricing integration API infrastructure, right? The TPP. So we have built our solutions into the TPP infrastructure to automatically fire based on each individual carrier's exact analysis profile, their rules, et cetera, so that when an adjuster or claims processor is working through a file, they complete the estimate right when they hit submit. And today they do this already. The carrier profile rules fire and any custom rules come up to be approved. That's when the flooring and the paint service programs fire. They're listed as options. And a quick click of a button that's already being clicked applies those programs, and the estimate moves on with an F9 note put in, a price adjustment made, and on we go. Okay, so for the carrier and the adjuster, again, the program really bridges the gap by aligning material fulfillment at scale with efficiency in the estimation process, okay? But again, has to be backed by a true line to fulfillment. We just don't believe there's a reason to call the Verisk price anything but accurate. We need to remind folks and endow ourselves on this is built on unlocking buying power, okay? So that's the process for carriers and their staff. For homeowners, listen, material delays can be painful. They can mean you stay in a hotel for longer. They can mean your project just doesn't get done and you don't get back to equilibrium. What we like to talk about at AccuServe is a claim doesn't end with a check. A claim ends with a home restored and a family or an individual back to equilibrium, which, again, is just the return of normalcy in life. So we have selected multiple top tier partners with national footprints. You saw them on the prior page where, again, we stand behind industry leading cycle times on delivery and fulfillment and product availability across the spectrum. It would not be good enough to just have the highest end quality materials available and not cover the lowest end, just like the opposite would not be good enough to cover the lowest end and not the highest end. So we have brought to bear a full spectrum capability set to attack all levels of quality of product, the broadest product suites, over 200 line items in flooring and over 500 line items in paint. And all backed by, again, suppliers who suppliers who you already work with, and a contact center that's staffed with trade professionals who can answer questions, work with contractors, work with do-it-yourself homeowners, and provide credible, important information. Okay, so trying to reduce timelines or delays, certainly trying to reduce variability in product availability, and then trying to offer, again, access to installation crews that may help enhance the experience should GC partners or trade partners need support on meeting a homeowner's needs. Okay, on the contractor side, listen, a couple of things here, and I would say very candidly, we're not done yet on the journey of how we make this valuable for our contracting partners. We are not the company that wants to help one stakeholder at the detriment of the other. Okay, so partnering with our contractors, a couple of things come to mind. First, again, listen, availability and pricing and kind of the fulfillment and the delivery mechanisms of the supplying partners you work with today. We're bringing access to more supplying partners and a seamless way to work with them. And take examples, of CCA. All their Carpet One and Flooring of America stores have tremendous capabilities to do installation at a high quality level, to mitigate callbacks on flooring jobs, to reduce warranty, this and that. We want to bring service partners that you can trust along with fulfillment capabilities to help augment your business. Certainly, there is the ability to leverage our business should you need a diversification of your supplier base, or should you have a situation where you're tapped out on your credit line or this or that. We want to offer, again, access to new partnership opportunities and support you there. And lastly, listen, we're constantly seeking at AccuServe to expand our network of service professionals. We're growing managed repair program. We grew last year 7 to 10% in our managed repair services in one of the toughest claims years in the history of the industry. We're proud of that, but we say that to say this: we know contractors need leads. We know they need committed partners that are going to give them jobs and support them through and through. And AccuServe is here to do that. So that's really how I think about the impact to each of these stakeholders, Odom, as we modernize kind of sourcing materials. Again, I just want to say this very, very clearly. We're not done yet. We're not at the mountaintop. We're still climbing the mountain. And we want to set our sights on establishing a new gold standard for all of those stakeholders and how they get the best material purchasing experience. That's not just the price. That's not just the delivery. That's not just the options. That's all of it. So more to come, but I think that answers the question in a fairly long-winded manner.
Yeah, thanks, Hunter. I used to run a CAT operation for a large top 10 carrier, and I know it's a race against time, specifically for materials and services doing CAT. So the first to inspect the property gives the opportunity for the policy holders to get in line for materials and contractors and services. So it's good to know that this program is about modernizing how materials are sourced to support everybody on that screen right there to get the highest quality venue for installation, materials, and support at the same time. So when maybe we can go back a little bit, as you were developing this program, what was your approach and foundation for creating it?
Yeah, a couple things. One, we really looked back on our history to inform our future. When our roofing business was first formed, we quickly uncovered an opportunity in this space to play an active role. We're proud of that role we've played for over 10 years now. But a couple of things came to mind. One, we identified that the claim handling workflows that have significantly modernized so far, we saw again a consistent gap in material procurement and the structure, right? The decentralized manner of how this is handled. We knew that we couldn't come in and change the process for material acquisition to the detriment of the overall efficiency of the claims processing standards that have been established, right? There have been many leaps forward in this industry in the last 20 years, many of which driven by Verisk, to make this more effective and efficient. And so we had to continue in that manner. So we wanted to reinvent material procurement while fitting into a rapidly evolving automation mindset in the claims industry, okay? So what we did was, first and foremost, we said, listen, we can't go out and do anything here unless we have supply chain partners who are national, who are trustworthy, who are scaled, and can fulfill on the promise. So we started there. And again, I think this all started with carriers coming to us and asking us to help attack these problems, which we're proud of at AccuServe. We want that thought partnership relationship. So we found the supply chain partners. And then, listen, we quickly just started working, Odom, with your team, with Dave, Jason Love, Tony Triola, and the team on the ecosystem side to say, look, you've got all kinds of integrations embedded in this really scaled, dominant platform of yours. How can we use them? And so integrating into the existing claim workflows was a no-brainer. Again, no parallel systems, no manual intervention, no new software, no change in estimating behavior, no operational friction. Same workflow you already use today, using the custom profile and exact analysis features that enable the TPP integration. We can automate the delivery of the value of leveraging buying power and centralizing that in partnership with AccuServe into a seamless impact on your claims process, right? So again, I think this had to have really just no in terms of process, technology, or any other claims changes to the way work gets done. We're really proud that we achieved that, right? Adjusters just simply review and accept pricing adjustments within the existing platform and workflow. And homeowners and contractors just simply call us to unlock the access to our suppliers and get service and support in any way that they need it. So it's pretty modern. It's pretty automated. I'll say this, we like to be cognizant that everyone's process is unique to them. And so we don't tell people that you can turn this on overnight. However, we did have one of our top 10 partners just 2 weeks ago say, hey, I don't see what you mean. There's a lot of change management here. This is what we already do. This ought to be deployable in 48 hours. And you know what? We agree. But we want to be respectful, and there's no intent to be an aggressive salesperson on this call. The process change is so little, and the ease of turning this on is so fast, Odom, that there's really no friction in deploying this, driving the benefit, and supporting both the contractors and the homeowners appropriately.
Yeah, it's kind of like you made an easy button. I know from personal experience working for 3 major insurance carriers, and they're the top 10. Nothing is usually easy because change takes a lot of work in those large companies. And it appears, based on what you've said and what the program and adoption of those programs, don't really require a lot of behavioral or systems changes. And that's why a lot of carriers now are starting to realize the value of this product and service very quickly. Like you said, you have several carriers as your partners and also as your customers. So now that you've spoken about how the program's set up and how you develop it, Let's talk about the program itself. Let's talk about FSP and PSP. Give us some insight on what they are and what products they bring and the benefits of them.
Yeah, so let me maybe reiterate a couple of things we said, but let me go backwards for a second. I think it's important for all the folks on this phone call who are curious about this to know that AccuServe as a company has fulfilled not only material product delivery, but also installation services to over 50,000 addresses in the last several years. We, as a business, have fulfilled the delivery and installation of building products to over 50,000 addresses. Okay, I think it's really critical. As you think about managed repair, a lot of people think historically of taking a claim, passing it on to a contractor, and that's all that managed repair programs do. No judgment on how any of our competitors do what they do. That's not what we do. And it's not the way we've built our business, both in our managed repair silo and our vertically integrated contracting silo. So we bring distinct capabilities each and every day of coordinating logistics, understanding what happens when a delivery is short, understanding what happens when you don't have enough of certain things, and how do you get it and get it quickly in an efficient manner for the crews and the contractors to not have delays. This is what we do each and every day. Okay, so it starts with what we like to take our strengths and try to use those more and more to the benefit of our stakeholders. So as you take that kind of foundational capability set and you think about the flooring and paint service programs, listen, these are end-to-end material sourcing and fulfillment solutions. These are not material pricing solutions. Verisk does the pricing solution to us. What we are doing is leveraging our unique business model, our unique capability and kind of skill and the amount of reps we've had on material sourcing, fulfillment and installation, and bringing that into new categories, okay? So a few things. What are these programs? One, these programs are meant to activate national buying power. We will share what is on our product roadmap at the end of this. However, our first and foremost approach here is that we've got to select partners who can fulfill the promise day in and day out in a CAT or in a daily situation on a national basis. So it starts with activating national buying power by either having or building the right supplier partnerships to unlock that, okay? Then comes with providing standardized, validated material pricing that really is built off of millions of data points. I don't use that word lightly. If you think about our partners on the flooring side that sell billions of dollars of materials every year and acquire billions of dollars of materials every year, the point of sale data is very rich. And what we've developed is a monthly, quarterly, semi-annually deployed QA process to look location by location, product by product at what the data points we have with our suppliers and internally. What are those? How do they compare to Verisk's pricing? Stand behind the buying power that we're willing to support, and make sure that the inventory management, the delivery, the logistics, the product availability, all that ties into a valid local market price that is defensible and can be guaranteed in terms of availability and delivery standards. Okay, so that's the next thing, right? It's an active national buying power network built on suppliers that can be trusted, providing standardized, validated material pricing with a guaranteed availability and delivery standard, right? We don't believe it's good enough to come in and fulfill willy-nilly. The thing that makes the program distinct is the fulfillment. It's the national relationships that are used on a daily basis to buy and install materials, period, right? That's the core. So we have to be able to deliver and provide availability and industry-leading cycle times and SLAs. We're proud to do that. And listen, what I think a couple other things this program is meant to do is we're also trying to help improve the predictability for carriers and contractors. Predictability of product availability, predictability of pricing, predictability of crews to support installation, all those factors, right? So again, we're not trying to cobble together a bunch of local market suppliers. No harm, no foul to those people. They're doing hard work, good work each and every day. We respect them, but we're trying to standardize things on a national level so that the experience is almost McDonaldized, okay? And the last thing I'd say is, again, sourcing those materials and leveraging how we procure today is we had to have a really strong muscle, Odom, of customer experience. It's not good enough to call and wait 45 minutes on hold. It's not good enough to call and then have to make another call to a supply house that you may or may not be comfortable using. It's not good enough to have anything but a seamless experience. And when you call AccuServe, you're going to talk to trade professionals. You're going to be connected to trustworthy suppliers with good product availability, guaranteed pricing, and the ability to support should anything go wrong, right? Issue resolution, huge thing in the insurance industry. Things do go wrong. We got to be prepared to do it. But this isn't our first rodeo. We do this every single day. So I think we're just leveraging strengths here that we want to automate into a claim process, but more holistically in our future vision is to build into a material fulfillment and sourcing strategy to support all stakeholders in this industry.
Yeah, great. Thanks for the summary on that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask the question that's probably the elephant in the room that most of the audience members probably have in their minds right now. So Hunter, how do you validate the prices are accurate and can be fulfilled within the industry standards?
Yeah, I think it starts with partnering with the people who set the industry standard, okay? So partnering with the gold standard suppliers that lead their categories because of a myriad of things. Again, pricing, strength of relationships, breadth of capability, breadth of product availability, you name it. Got to partner with the best to be the best, and that's the approach of this firm, okay? But let me go back to something I said a minute ago, Odom. We've got a monthly, quarterly, and semi-annual QA process where we're ingesting data from multiple sources, and we're doing detailed algorithmic testing of, can we support various prices that maybe, and in almost all aspects, are different than Verisk's, right? We need to look at what our partners have in terms of point of sale data, in terms of inventory stocking, in terms of product availability, in terms of manufacturer partnerships, and bring all that information into a very detailed data-driven assessment of our ability to support a buying power program and give economic benefit to the financing organizations of those materials. So that's what we do. We do it leveraging our data team. We do it leveraging a consistent process. And we have to do that. It's not good enough just to say we can support a price differently. It's different than the Verisk price. It's got to have standalone gold standard suppliers behind it, and it's got to be data driven and guaranteed.
Great, thanks. So I'm going to ask a follow-up question about the program a little bit. When I was running a claims operation, and when customers use this product, the ones who are online right now, many have to justify its use. So how do you report and provide analytics on the program and its successes?
Yeah, great question. And thank you for asking that. I think, our goal is not only in the adjustment process to reduce or create no friction for adjusters, it's the same thing for the procurement departments. We know everybody's got a ton of work to do. And so partnering with you all, Odom, we've created some very fast, sub 1 hour work paths to do cost benefit analyses. We will do those for carriers who are comfortable sharing their data with us, and we will teach them how to do it or show them how we do it should they want to keep their data proprietary to themselves. No harm, no foul either way, but we realize that before you take a bet and put resources on deploying a solution with us, you absolutely need to know the cost benefit. So that's first and foremost, we got to make that really easy. The second thing is, I would say, if you then do the cost benefit analysis and you choose to deploy the program, we have tons of training tools that are available. We will happily do the training for adjusters and staff and claims processors and IAs, or we will feed a lot of material that can be used, white labeled, whatever you have, to educate the claims staff. I think then once the programs are deployed, a critical function that we have to fulfill is we got to provide reporting that's valuable, not just a summary of the outcomes, but reporting that drives the outcomes. So we've got geographic product adjuster level reporting capabilities that help claims organizations deploy these with full utilization and full utilization of the program to unlock that comprehensive cost benefit analysis that we did on the front end. If we show you a cost benefit analysis on the front end and the program doesn't deliver that, then we're right in the crosshairs because we said we could do something that we couldn't. And that's not good enough. So I would say, props to the folks who run the implementation team and the SAM organization here at AccuServe that helps our customers track the efficacy of the program, utilization, economic outcomes, customer service, cycle times, SLAs, all this stuff needs to be world-class, presented on a platter so that we make not only the claims adjusters and processors' lives easy, but we make procurement's life easy. That's our goal.
Well, let's talk about the real life usage of this program. I know that it's good to know the background of the program, and you told us a lot about it, but let's talk about real life usage. Where do these programs sit and fit within the claims workflow?
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to sound like a broken record, but it's pretty simple. Let's go through it. So adjusters write estimates exactly as they do today in the Verisk platform, okay? Program eligible materials are then automatically identified leveraging that TPP API in the background. Pricing adjustments appear within the existing estimating platform, right? So in that move from an estimate's complete to an estimate's finalized right there when the inspection rules are run, the adjuster reviews and accepts any inspection rules or program rules that you have in your exact analysis profile. There's no additional systems. There's no additional approvals. There's no manual work required, okay? This couldn't be simpler. After the estimate is approved, the materials are sourced and fulfilled efficiently, right? The F9 note that goes into the estimate gives our phone number, our email address, our website. That contact center is staffed with people who can answer questions, who can help with identifying product availability. Then our supplier partners can help with picking, the kind and quality of materials you want. Oftentimes homeowners, after a claim decide to go back with something different than they had. And we want to support that, whether it's an upgrade or not. If you come into one of our support stores, you're going to have a great buying experience. That's the commitment. And then, listen, the contractors need to be supported, whether it's going in to pick up paint or having materials delivered to a job site. That's got to be done in an industry standard manner and time frame. Okay, I can't ask a bunch of contractors to go to Bed Bath & Beyond to pick up flooring materials. It's not going to work. That's not how they do it today. It needs to be done how they do it today. So, again, I would say this isn't just thought through for the adjusters and the claims processors. This is thought through for the contractors as well. There cannot be a lot of friction for changing from a fragmented, decentralized pay model to one that leverages buying power. It's got to be better for all the stakeholders.
Great. Yeah, it's always got to be easier, less friction. Everybody wants that. And so we talked about the ease of use throughout this webinar. Can you talk more about how this integrates, specifically how it integrates with the Verisk and the Verisk estimating tools?
Yeah, so right now it only integrates with the Verisk estimating tools. That's the only platform this is available on. You all have led the way with us. We appreciate that. And this integrates directly into the third-party pricing functionality that you have built in the entrails of the Xactware product. So, I'd say it's just we're another ecosystem partner. We are leveraging existing functionality, which is already in many ways widely adopted and trusted across this industry and other building products. And the integration really ensures accuracy, transparency, and consistency. We often get asked, what happens if your systems are down? Well, if our systems are down, Verisk systems probably aren't down, right? This is hardwired into the Verisk ecosystem. If a claims estimate is written and able to be processed and it has eligible materials, these rules will fire. There's no way around it. Now, as I say that, I'll also say this. We fully recognize, support, and understand that adjusters need the ability to do their jobs. Negotiate and settling claims is not always a black box that it's not always black and white. Okay, so certainly the functionality allows an adjuster to override should it be part of a claim settlement and this and that in agreement with a contractor. So we have to have that flexibility built in there, Odom. However, the product is built to seamlessly run on every single claim with an eligible material with no incremental work.
Okay, good. So there's probably folks online that don't have large IT departments, don't have coders. Talk about how this is implemented and the onboarding process.
Yeah, so listen, I, as a CEO, I'm constantly looking at ROI analysis and investments in my business and trying to prioritize, okay? I get that, we do it here. There's no judgment on that. What I love about this project or these products is, and I think I said this to one of the top 10 carriers the other day, these are not strategic projects. These are just do it projects. This is turning on functionality that already exists, that's in many ways already being used to unlock value in ancillary trades and building materials, okay? So there's no infrastructure investment required. When I tell you there's an X to 1 ROI, you don't have to put dollars down to get that ROI. It comes immediately by turning it on, okay? There's no software development. If you use exact analysis and you're a power user within the Verisk ecosystem, this should require no software development, no technology, no nothing, okay? There's no operational restructuring to unlock the benefit. Again, we fit this directly into how claims are processed today, whether you're desk adjusting, you're field adjusting, you're using IAs, you're using inspection firms, you name it, it fits seamlessly, okay? And we have a graceful, guided onboarding process led by Jason Roth and his team and our sales organization. That's really meant for us to do the heavy lifting. We're not asking, and we don't want to ask our partners to do heavy lifting. We want to make this easy, and we've proven our ability to do that. So, listen, we measure the training required to support this in hours, not weeks. From the time we say go to launch a pilot, is typically under 2 weeks. It can be done very quickly, and the process really quickly starts with a three-way communication between us, a carrier, and a Verisk rep, okay? And so, again, I think, Odom, I know you're available for contact for carriers after this. I know Jason's contact information is on the screen, but I would say anybody who uses the Verisk ecosystem, if you contact your Verisk rep, they can very easily connect you to us, and we can get this started. So there's a dedicated onboarding and support team here. And again, I think what's most important to me is ongoing performance management. Are we watching the program? Are we seeing the performance? Are we seeing any gaps? We want the maximal efficiency and efficacy of this program to be earned by each and every partner of ours. And that's where the reporting kind of provides that closed loop.
Thanks, Hunter. It seems like a very easy process. So no software development, no operational restructuring. So with the success of these two programs, what else is on the horizon for AccuServe?
Yeah, so I told you that both flooring and paint were driven by customer sourced innovation requests or support requests, right? I think the next thing you will see us do is drywall and insulation pricing. We're really proud of the suppliers that we've partnered with there that are world-class industry leaders. And we will hopefully deploy that in the Verisk ecosystem very, very quickly and soon. And again, offer a world-class consumer contractor experience in support of that. So, Odom, I'd say as we also look to expand our impact, we've got to continue to look for the mountaintop, which to me is contractors, homeowners, and carriers are all benefiting and embracing this approach. So, my goal is to continue to strengthen our supplier network, diversify our product suite, diversify and strengthen the economic and service benefits to our contractors, and build trust there and reliance so that we offer meaningful value to their businesses, much like we do today in our MRP services, right? We're sending leads out the door each and every minute of every day. We're proud of that because we want to build strong, sustainable, proud, and tremendous quality contracting organizations. We've got to continue to push in the material side on how do we do that, and how do we continue to keep those guys front of mind, those guys and gals front of mind.
Great, thanks. We've got a few minutes left for a Q&A session. So let's take a look at some of the questions. If anybody has questions for us, please type it in the chat function and our facilitators will pop those questions to me or Hunter. So real quick, let's see if we have any questions. Oh, looks like first question is this program offered with any other non-Verisk platforms?
Yeah, today, no, it's not. It's only available on Verisk.
Okay. Second question coming in is delivery an additional expense that gets added?
Yeah, no. Listen, claims are estimated in Verisk. If there are delivery fees that are estimated on the estimate, then there's delivery fees. If not, then they're part of the component pricing. Then that's the price, and that's going to be the price we honor and fulfill on. So again, if there's a separate line item for fees on deliveries, that's going to be handled in the claim, but there are no additional delivery fees on our end.
Okay. And another question that came in is, are there any areas within the U.S. that are not available for delivery?
Yeah, today, no. And I think the answer always has to be the same there, right? I think we have to, as a business, have a bevy of supplier partners. We certainly have primary partners in each trade. However, we've augmented our primary partners with support mechanisms in various areas to ensure that we can deliver on the promise. And to me, the core of the promise is the fulfillment capability, Odom. So no is the answer to that question. And that's how we think about it.
Okay, good. Next question is, can you give us some lessons learned from implementation of this product and services, whether it be constructive or positive?
Yeah, so a couple of things come to mind. One, I think I would set expectations appropriately that this is very easy to do. Okay, that was intentional by design, with our firm and Verisk working to make it such. Sometimes people think if it's easy, it can't be real. It's not the case here. Okay, so for a carrier organization to turn this on, super simple. As I said, we've got multiple steps in guiding and onboarding implementation. Listen, I would say this, Odom, what we found is when these programs are deployed frequently, the first few months, most of the call volume is from adjusters asking us about the program, which probably could be eradicated via more thoughtful and diligent and thorough training, which again, we're happy to do on the front end and lean in. We have no problem taking those calls, and we do it all day. But I would say that might be frictional downstream work that could be eradicated via more collaborative partnership on the front end. And I would say another thing that's important is I think it's important, especially if you're a carrier and you work with a managed repair program or you have your own direct repair program, is to be upfront about this with contractors. We would like to talk to contractors about this stuff proactively, not reactively as they're trying to settle out a claim and get a loss handled. And we welcome that. So I think being upfront, being honest, and being proactive about it helps all these programs kind of become, more mainstream and more normal course quicker.
Great, thank you. The other question is, I know you already addressed this, but it is a question. is it really 2 weeks to onboard and implement?
Well, it really can be less than that, my friend.
Okay.
But I think I might get laughed off of the stage here if I committed to something less than that. And, and listen, I mean, contracts take time. Vendor due diligence and these things take time. So, I would be a phony baloney guy. One of my least favorite things is what Holden Caulfield called phonies in the world back in my favorite book, Catcher in the Rye.
Yeah, but short of completing the contract, Hunter, after the contract is done, it's probably the better question.
2 weeks. 2 weeks.
Really?
If that.
Okay. Okay. And as long as you're in the various ecosystem, and then we can turn on the pipelines between the two companies, right?
Yep. That's almost immediate. It's leveraging infrastructure already in there. I see a question about the contractors. You mind if I just take this one?
Sure.
Yeah. So I think to this question, happy to provide training. This is again where I think that we need to proactively tell them what's coming and offer them the opportunity to engage with us before it's deployed. So some have done that and it's gone well. Some have not. And listen, I think eventually this just becomes kind of how carriers settle claims. You are willing to pay the price that you're willing to pay. And if there's the ability to leverage buying power and get economies of scale for your financing capacity of these losses, eventually this just gets accepted. And our goal is to build out accretive value streams into contractor organizations, again, by diversifying the supplier base, offering installation support, or in best case scenario, onboarding new contractors into our managed repair programs to feed them leads and jobs. So yeah, this is, we will put the time and effort into educating either after a program is deployed, should people not be comfortable proactively telling their contractors and those stakeholders about this, which we advocate for not doing that. We advocate for being upfront and honest and proactive about it. Or we will do it in collaboration with you ahead of time.
Great. Thanks, Jason. It looks like we have another question. When a CAT event happens, how quickly will your pricing change to cover supply delays and increase labor costs?
Yeah, the goal in a CAT event is to not quickly change our pricing. The goal is to leverage national supplying capacity and capabilities to stand up into a blip in the supply chain and react in normal course. So, if I reflect on the 10 years that we've been doing buying power, material pricing, and fulfillment services, I do not recall a time where we couldn't respond and deliver materials at the pricing that was kind of agreed upon. So let's just be honest and real. Our pricing, as Verisk updates their pricing, that's about the cycle at which we'll update ours on a CAT scenario. Now, the onus is on us to have diversified supplier agreements and diversified capacity to be able to respond and hold and guarantee those prices for the timeframes that we agree on that. And again, if the past is any indicator of the future, we haven't had a challenge doing that.
Great. So I know we talked earlier that this doesn't get as much attention, mostly don't get as much as attention like a CAT storm would, right? But it's a daily usage, so it doesn't get the glory, what I would say, the headlines as much as CAT. When you speak to insurance executives or other executives who work in either a contractor network or so forth, what has been their response to this?
Yeah, so I think this is still relatively new, Odom, right? So I think that as we talk to VPs of claims and we talk to claims leaders, directors, you name it. What we're trying to help folks understand is that these are direct partnerships with, supply chain participants. We are not offering a service like a hover. We're not offering a service like another kind of per claim, image, material identification, you name it type service. We are going into the supply chain and we're going into the actual fulfillment of restoration.
So you're not going into the single transaction, you're going to the bulk.
Correct. And the need to be able to provide this pricing and this fulfillment capability countrywide across hundreds of product types is different than aerial imagery or estimating support services or this or that. So I think the biggest issue we found is, listen, we're unlocking, oftentimes material economics, but this isn't easy and it's not cheap, and nor should it be, because it's a significant ROI. So I think it's also trying to break down a barrier in a fragmented, decentralized market. This stuff doesn't happen overnight with ease of use. If it was easy, someone would have already done it. So that's what I would say, Odom, is I think it's thinking differently beyond the cost to process a claim into the cost to restore a home. That's what we're talking about.
Well, we're approaching the top of the hour, and I think we've ran out of questions. So if there's any other questions, please send them now. Otherwise, I think we can adjourn. But thank you, Hunter, for your time. And thanks everyone online for your time and spending it with us to learn more about a program that both AccuServe and Veris have set up for you, for carriers, for contractors, for policyholders to benefit from. And if there's any other questions, please let us know. In the meantime, we can adjourn. Any last words? Any last words, Hunter?
No, listen, I think we are ready and willing and excited to engage. And so Jason's contact information is down there. I'm not hard to find. We welcome dialogue from all stakeholders. And again, just excited to have the follow-up and blessed for the opportunity to be here today, Odom. Thank you again.
Thanks, Jason. Thanks, everyone, for your time. We appreciate it. Take care.
Take care, guys.